Today is Wednesday, April 4th, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor Ghost Island, Week 6, Episode 7.
This episode was titled, Gotta Risk It for the Biscuit. And we were both wrong. Turned out it was Kellen who said that. We were guessing other folks. Previously on Survivor, Jeff keeps it very straightforward. Malolo loses its 5th immunity challenge. Michael and James are outnumbered. Michael turned on an ally to stay alive, but he, too, is also still vulnerable. And we're off. Day 18. No after tribal council for this episode. Just no point in it. We're going to go right to the morning of day 18 at Malolo.
And Michael needs an idol.
He tells us that tribal council was depressing, and he's worried that he's next.
And Angela's keeping an eye on Michael, and she's pretty sure he's looking for an idol.
So it's like they care and they don't care. That was kind of odd, wasn't it?
Yeah. I thought she was going to go look for him and, really suss it out, but it seems like she
we saw last season, sometimes people decide that's just too much darn work.
It's too much trouble.
Yeah. Saw where that got him, huh?
Well, I don't know who Angela thinks would go if Michael has an idol.
Michael tells us he's being openly aggressive. He doesn't care. He knows that he's on the outs, and so, he's looking really fiercely for it.
And it pays off.
Desiree tells us he's paranoid, he's easy pickings. There you go, there's the answer. He's just easy pickings. They don't have to worry.
Okay, I love it when he finds it. And it's Jason's stick.
It finally makes its appearance. The F stick is back. The stick that was responsible for Eliza. I like how they told the story of it. Because I wasn't really thinking about it that way. I think they're taking a little liberty with it. But saying that, Eliza went out, Ozzy went out, Jason went out. Everybody who touched it went out.
So now they're going to make it a real idol.
Yes.
The fake idol is no more.
Joke's on you. This is real now.
Yes, it's just a stick, but now it's real.
You think anybody's going to drop the Eliza line on him at any point? Because that's what everyone's hoping for at this point, right? That someone thinks that. Oh, well. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, off to the reward challenge. No one seems to be surprised that James is gone. Not much care given that we get to see, at least.
No, and Malolo's gotten pretty used to not showing too much reaction on their face.
Now, this is a reward. Steak, chicken kebabs. 5
big steaks.
Yeah.
Thick steaks.
Yep, the tomahawk ones with the bone in.
Oh, yeah, plus chicken and vegetables.
Yep.
And spices.
There you go.
To go on them, and a grill.
Yep. Second place, get some kebabs. Still good stuff. Yep.
Oh yeah, still good.
And I like
the
the twist that the winning tribe is going to choose someone to go to Ghost Island from either tribe. They can choose from either tribe, and if it's not unanimous, then everybody has to draw rocks, even your alliance members on those other tribes. So very cool. I like that portion of it. That there's more risk involved, not personally for the winners, but that was a nice twist.
But they decide to send someone who's been before to make it safer.
Yeah, let's talk about the challenge first. Dominick and Laurel sit out, and the goal, as we've seen in this challenge before, is to spell out a word, and you have to start spelling it backwards. They added a thing in where they've got the logos that are on the top and the bottom, so you have to spell out reward this time.
Yep, we've seen this one before. It's usually immunity.
Yeah.
Which is even taller.
Yes. So they spared them a little bit.
They added the ghost top and bottom ones. Ghost Island.
I like how Angela called Michael James at one point during the challenge. That was interesting.
Hear that.
Yeah. He just reminded her, I'm Michael. Thanks for paying attention. Thanks for your awareness. That's good. Yeah, so everybody drops at one point or another. And then eventually, Naviti goes for the slackline strategy that we saw that was so important to winning, where the person placing the block puts no tension on the rope. They don't have to be responsible for that, so they can just sort of race out there and race back, given that option. That seemed to work really well the last time for the winners, and it worked really well this time too. Good on you, Naviti. Now, Yanuya was doing that same thing, and I think they fell for what Jeff was saying, which is you can play fast and loose early, but then you've got to be super careful, because then Wendell was slowing down a whole lot, and he was putting tension on his for Yanuya, so he ended up putting them in a little bit of jeopardy, I think, because he was paying attention to Probst in that case instead of following that slackline strategy the whole way through the way we saw Naviti do it. What do you think about Bradley's encouragement for Donathan during this challenge? It's an important moment in the episode.
Obnoxious as usual.
Yes. No tension. Donathan, no tension on the rope. I'm not Bradley. That was a good exchange. Yeah, he paused and did a nice little facial expression for Bradley just to emphasize that he was not doing that. And poor Malolo, what do? They drop again. They get so close to getting second, and then there's like, meh, not paying any attention to what's working for the other tribes, and they ensure that they will not win.
And they did not.
Yanuya squeaks out a second win, and they get those chicken kebabs. So Probst tells us Malolo loses again.
Still cursed.
Now you can go. Who did they choose to go and why?
Kellen.
Yes, Kellen goes back.
Because she'd been before.
Now, what did you think of that choice?
I thought it was good. It gave her more encouragement to go for it this time.
Yeah.
And she couldn't turn that down. I think that made a difference.
You think she was pretending to be a little downfallen there?
No.
When Chelsea said we're going to send her back again? Chelsea, her alliance member?
No, I don't think she liked going.
Yeah.
I don't think Kellen likes to be on her own out there.
Maybe
I think that's
one of those
really,
folks that doesn't like to be alone with their thoughts.
She got too many thoughts to be alone with them right now, I think.
Well, it's a short stay the way this is set up because she comes back before the immunity challenge, and this turns out it's only a 2-day cycle, so she got an overnighter.
It probably made it worth it since she feels like she gained something from it. So
Donathan tells us after that reward challenge that he was raging inside at Bradley, but he's also happy to let him dig his own grave. Good on you, Donathan. Although you did give him a little back when he was calling you out during the challenge. Okay, so Ghost Island, day 18 still. Kellen's second visit. So she gets to the breaking the vase, the little tubular vase, whatever it is. So she breaks it and finds out, she's going to get to play again. But there's a twist. The odds have improved. Now 2 of the 3 choices she can make actually has something beneficial in it. Mm-hmm. So, the odds are definitely in her favor. And she makes her choice and ends up with, the title of the episode at this point, Gotta Risk It for the Biscuit.
Well, that's what she said.
And then the steal a vote that ended up being Michaela's undoing, which now is going to act as an extra vote for her. So she ends up getting an advantage, something that actually in her current tribe she doesn't necessarily need. So she's looking further down the road at the benefits of this.
For sure.
Yeah, merge and beyond.
And she seems very happy with it.
Well, she predicted her win of the season based on this turn of events.
Well, that's silly. But
see it and be it, as Fraser Crane would say.
Okay.
Yep.
It'll certainly help out with one tribal council.
Bouncing over to Naviti, still on day 18, Donathan tells us that they smoked him, and he's really looking forward to sort of reliving the moment and discussing the win.
And who keeps interrupting him?
Bradley Bradley pooped on his moment for sure. He was clapping at him. Get over here and help me. Clapping. Like Donathan's his servant or his pet or something. Yeah, jeez.
That's an irritant for you. A big one.
What's that?
For somebody to snap or clap or do something like that to get your attention to.
Depends. Context is very important there. Yep.
Well, Brad's context.
Bradley tells us it's hard for him not to be a jerk. But let's go. I want to eat. and I'm the most important person here. He didn't exactly say that last part, but it's certainly implied.
And then Dominick thinks that Brad is certainly, he didn't use jerk, but he was more intense than that, but basically the same. Everyone agrees Brad is a complete jerk.
And
I call him Brad, not Bradley.
Okay, because you think that would annoy him in real life.
Probably.
Yeah. So, yeah, they appear to be on. They tell us, Dominick tells us they're all on the same page, and they all appear to agree on the surface that if they lose, it will lose in the immunity challenge, that is, it will be Bradley to go.
Well, they're all just really getting fed up with his rudeness.
And then Dominick tells us, well, he's having a little bit of second thoughts. He's got to figure out if it's really worth it for him to undo his original alliance that way. So, okay, yeah, makes sense.
Well, and at this point, I said, oh, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, you had him to go. You had
Bradley
Bradley to go. I had Michael to go. So my hopes of
I had intended
Michael
to put
going
Michael, and actually
diminished.
I thought I might change I made picks yesterday, and I thought I might do it this morning, but I got real busy today and never thought about it until it was already too late. But I put Brad because, number one, I thought that team might lose the water challenge, but secondly, I just wanted it so badly.
Yeah.
And I thought, I just really want this.
There were quite a few people in that boat with you.
I know.
Okay, now we bounce over to the Yanuya tribe, and they're just darn bummed that they're not first, but they're happy to have their chicken kebabs.
Well, at least Chris is.
Because he tells us he's a big guy, and he loves to eat. Because so many people don't, Chris. Okay. And Wendell, how did he finagle that? He got them all to sing happy birthday to his girlfriend, Nicole.
It's television.
And we're here saying the name of his girlfriend, Nicole,
happy birthday,
in the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Wendell takes advantage of their food coma after the kebabs to go out and look for an idol.
That's good thinking, though. That tells you he's still on. He's still thinking.
Yep. Game on for Wendell. Good job.
It's his time to search.
He tells us while he's out searching that he's been looking for landmarks since he got on the island. And there's one tree in particular that's caught his eye, so he goes and looks. And sure enough, turns out there's a clue there. So that was nice that it was a clue and it wasn't just straight.
We'd all been complaining about this, about them not looking. And so they have been looking and keeping eyes out. They just hadn't had an opportunity.
Yeah. So he took advantage of this great opportunity with everybody in the food coma. He finds a clue, and then he works out from the clue that he needs to dig at the base of a tree. So he actually did have to work a little bit to find this one, instead of just reaching into a tree trunk or an old log there or under a rock.
What a big necklace. It's the one Eric gave to Natalie.
How about the stick and the Eric necklace make a reappearance in the same episode, basically the same day. If we're to believe the timeline and how it was presented. Yeah, and I wrote in my notes, now that's a hidden immunity idol.
Yep, and now it's not just the
immunity necklace.
Yes,
it
is an idol.
Right. It is a hidden immunity idol. And he hides it again. He buries it at the base of a tree. That's a big one. That's going to be hard to keep a secret.
Oh, yeah.
It's so huge.
Well, he can bury it for now, but when you go to take it to tribal, you're going to have to get it in your bag somehow.
Not only that, but it's going to make noise with every step you take. That thing's going to rattle.
Maybe.
Those two cloths that it was wrapped in, I don't think they're enough to stabilize it.
Well, he's probably got some clothes he could wrap around it in his bag, that he'll work it out.
I see.
He'll work it out.
I think otherwise, but yeah, that's going to be a good one.
He doesn't have much choice.
Good on Wendell. If you're cheering for Wendell, you got to be happy now. He's got fellow castaways that are looking out for him.
Idols and advantages everywhere.
He's got an idol. Yeah, good deal.
But I'm happy. I'm glad to see something actually happened on Ghost Island for change.
Yeah, that was good. And good on Kellen for taking the chance, and I think she did set herself up really well for down the road. Okay, community challenge time. Return to Kellen. She seems a little downtrodden, so she's putting the act on really good. Desiree tries to cheer her up a little, telling her to put on a smile. We're going to reverse the curse, and they tell Propst they burned the banner. They didn't burn the tribe flag, but they burned the little banner. Yeah. And Desiree announces that the curse is gone. Okay, for this challenge, they got to swim, and then they've got to jump/dive out and get 2 sets of rings, and then swim the rings back, and then everybody swims back out, and they have to jump off that platform to get to the target that they're going to throw the rings at. So it ends up being a ring toss. Most important element of this challenge, no puzzle. No puzzle for Malolo to blow. Yeah. So, yes, Malolo's got a chance when you see what this immunity challenge is.
So Sebastian gets back first, and then Brad and Kellen and Chris and Dom and Michael go out.
Yep, Michael did really good catching Malolo back up.
Yeah, Chris did well.
Dominick
struggled a lot.
Yep, for sure.
But at the end of gathering the rings, Yanuya was in first, and Malolo was in second, and Naviti was last. And then they went on to the part where they have to throw the rings.
Yep. Chris and Wendell did a great job for Yanuya.
Oh, yeah.
Donathan was doing really good for Naviti. And on Malolo, they started off with Desiree tossing, and then after she missed several, they swapped to Michael, and Michael did really great.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't have thought Donathan would have done as good as he did, but he did really well.
Yes.
And it could have gone either way, him or Michael. That's impressive.
Did look like it came down to the wire there for that 5th one for the second win. Yanuya secured the first win. It looked pretty easy between Chris and Wendell there. They had that on lock.
Yeah, Wendell did most of them.
And then Michael snuck back in there and stole it away for Malolo's win. Make sure they didn't go to tribal council. So Naviti's going to tribal council. So my choice of Michael's off the table, and now you got a shot at Bradley going. So instead of being happy, you became super reserved. I said, you need to go all in on this. You're like,
no, they're going to send Libby home.
I don't want to go out there.
It's not going to happen. I can't get that excited and then be disappointed. This is just too intense for me.
I see.
And I just couldn't get excited about it because I just thought I would just have all my hopes dashed. It felt too important all of a sudden.
For you to risk.
I didn't even care about the point. I've not got to vote off all season, and I just didn't care about that. I just wanted Brad to go home.
Yeah.
And I thought he's not going to. They're going to send Libby. I'm going to be disappointed.
You wouldn't even let yourself be excited at the prospect.
I would not allow it. Nope, I would not allow it. But Libby tells us that Brad needs to go home because he disrespects everyone.
Yes. All right, cut to a big school of fish, and then what? A shark swimming among them.
Yep.
Okay, we're back at Naviti. Dom apologizes, and Libby says, you know what? We win as a tribe and we lose as a tribe.
Okay, but what was all that about? He was shaking. He thought he maybe had too much coffee.
No, he didn't say that.
He did?
He did not. This is very important, and you missed it somehow.
Okay.
So Dominick is apologizing, and he said he was just really, I forget his words, but he was just blown out after that swim.
Shaking.
And then he said he was shaking, and then Bradley said, you drank too much coffee. Bradley said that, not Dominick. That's important.
Huh.
Yeah, you missed that.
I'm going to have to go back and watch that, because I thought Dom said it.
Nope. Bradley said it to him.
Drank too much coffee.
So instead of lifting him up the way Libby did, saying win as a tribe, lose as a tribe, Bradley said, yeah, you drank too much coffee. That's why you were shaking. That's why you didn't do well in the challenge.
Oh, well.
Next, though, we see Donathan.
Gestures come to mind, actually.
Next, we see Donathan, Dominick, and Bradley talking, and Bradley says, Libby. Donathan seems to be all on board. Dominick's there for it. Brad tells us she's pretty and she's dangerous. We really need to get rid of her. Libby knows something's up. She tells Chelsea that she feels nervous, but Chelsea tries to reassure her and says, trust me, I got your back. And we see Chelsea and Dominick have a discussion. And they're like, well, who are we going to go with? All those assurances given, and now we got to really figure out what we're going to do.
I would have thought that Brad would have been a little bit more suspicious because Donathan was so seemingly on board and saying, oh, no, she doesn't have an idol.
No, he told us, Bradley tells us when he's talking about the threat that Libby represents that Donathan's merely here for a vacation. So as far as Bradley's concerned, Donathan is insignificant in the scheme of Survivor in this episode. So he's very content with having Donathan smile and nod his head and say, yeah, let's get Libby. In no way does Libby have an idol, Donathan tells Bradley.
Well, here's where I would be a little bit wary, and it tells me that Chelsea has game, is she was very convincing with Libby that, oh, no, trust me. We're voting Brad, just trust me. And I thought, yeah, she could be pretty good to deceive people.
We've seen her do it before.
Yeah, not a lot.
We didn't see a lot of
her, but I really...
Well, we didn't see a lot, but we saw signs of this when she was on Malolo before.
Well, I just wanted to note that she has game there.
Okay.
And that I thought she did it well.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Dom's wondering if he can really count on Bradley down the line.
Yeah, but, Dominick, it's your own fault that you found her so charming. Bradley finds her so charming, and she's so dangerous. It's like, but we can't resist her. She's already charmed me once. It wasn't my fault.
I see.
She charmed me.
You're saying he's not owning it.
She's dangerous.
Yeah. Well, the really solid point that Dominick brings up is that she betrayed him on the Morgan vote out.
That's true.
So,
and he bought it. That's what he's really upset about.
Despite being pulled in by her physical appearance and her ability to chat with him or not, depending on which way he's assessing her, because he's given us both perspectives on her so far, that she's shut off or that she's dangerous. She did betray him on the Morgan vote, and that's definitely something you don't want to overlook.
But it's all about how it affected them.
Yeah, sure.
And their perception.
And he's wondering if he can really count on Bradley. And at this point, we had a quick discussion during the commercials. This is a tough one, it seems like. There's no easy decision because you got that history with how well she fooled them with regards to Morgan and taking that Morgan thread out and evening up the numbers, which was just impressive. Really, truly impressive. And then you've got Bradley, the smugnacious jerk there that's going to alienate people. How can you count on him in an alliance down the road, even though he's connected in to the majority really well?
Well, my thought was Dom and Chelsea need to decide who of the original Naviti members are with them and who's with Brad. Who has more loyalty toward Brad or them? Now, Kellen tells everyone that Chelsea and Brad and the others that were on the new Malolo, they were very tight and they voted together and stayed together. She's probably thinking, well, what are they going to feel if we turn on Brad now? But I think she can pull them over. My thought was, well, just tell him he went off on
unbearable.
Us. He did this. You don't know. He just went nuts.
If you saw how he was treating Donathan, you would have voted him out too.
Well, I don't know about Donathan. I'd have said
well, she said she had come to Donathan's defense.
Yeah.
When Bradley was yelling at him during the challenge.
Yeah, but now we're making up the story for her other tribe mates. I would say how he treated me or how he treated Dominick.
Donathan or Dominick?
Dominick.
Okay, Dominick. Interesting.
Because he's also part of their alliance, original. Gotcha. Naviti.
Gotcha. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, Tribal Council, night 19.
Jeff still asking about the original Naviti versus original Malolo.
Dominick tells us, still a factor. And Donathan says that he's concerned that they have the majority alliance. They have the numbers. It's his biggest concern. Bradley, he tells us that it's pretty easy going there at camp, though.
We're
that they're
just all a cohesive.
Getting along swimmingly, darling.
Swimmingly.
Yes. Lovey. Yeah.
Yes. Thurston.
Donathan's not so quick to agree to that one, though. Says it's not a big happy family. There's this matter of when we took Morgan out, and I think Dominick is definitely holding on to that. And Libby says, yeah, but here's how you look at it. It may sting, but that was me being loyal to my alliance, and that's what I'm going to do going forward. So that seemed like a good reassurance.
I'm loyal to my alliance.
Yeah.
If you're in my alliance, I'm loyal to you.
Right.
I thought she did that well.
Good reassurance. I agree.
Well, and Brad tells us, he could argue that the sky was blue.
Or wasn't blue, yeah.
Or whatever.
He can offer counterpoints, and he's happy to argue. But he doesn't want to be that guy who annoys everyone and keeps arguing. And this was a great opportunity for some eye rolls, but Donathan, Libby, Chelsea, they all held themselves in check pretty well there. We didn't get too much of an overreaction. We could see a little bit of response from each of them, but it wasn't enough so that Jeff would call them out for it and have them end up having to explain it.
But Dominick did say, well, you don't want to be the person who causes conflict. He didn't say that Bradley is that person,
right. But maybe sometimes it's good to hold your tongue.
Yeah, and then
keep a level head.
Reaffirms we all get along.
Chelsea says, "Yep, your behavior affects you. You need to be aware of it."
Need to be aware of it.
That.
I liked that. You need to be aware of your behavior to other people. And I thought, oh yes, she's talking to you, Brad. He doesn't get it.
No.
But she was talking to him.
No reason for him to think that.
Nope, not at all, and I don't believe he did.
No. Dominick says, yep, that's criteria to consider a lot. You got to look at the trust and the connections, what that may mean going forward.
And at this point, I was still not allowing myself any hope whatsoever. Not going to do it.
You were still calling Libby at this point, so you had flipped on your vote out.
Libby's going, that's it. Not even.
So you managed to choose correctly, but not allow yourself to enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it until after. I don't
know what the lesson is here for you, but
it was for the first time. It was important. I wanted him to go so much.
I see.
I don't know. I don't even know.
You felt like you had too much at stake to allow yourself.
No, he just annoyed me so much.
All right, so big surprise. Bradley gets voted out, and he says, good luck with the rest of your game, in a very sarcastic way, as far as I'm concerned.
Good luck, guys. Good luck with the rest of your game.
And then on his way out, oh my God, wow, darn, that's crazy. So, yeah.
He said somewhere in there, adventure of a lifetime.
Oh, did he? I think I might have missed that one.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Probst announces that tribal lines are weakening. You finally allowed yourself a little enjoyment at this point.
You gave me a high five.
Yeah, did that cut it loose?
And I was like, no. We kind of watched the tribal back the second time. I felt a little better the second time. But I might need a third.
You still had trepidation.
I don't know. I just couldn't allow myself to believe it. And I guess I'm still having trouble.
On the other hand,
watch it again.
Even though I did not get my vote out point, I thoroughly enjoyed watching Bradley get taken down by this new cross-tribal alliance.
I would have given up all 5 of my points, no problem.
So finally the comeuppance came. It was just on night 19.
That seems like a long time.
Yeah, I got a few more on my list here, and then I'll be super happy.
Well, I don't know why he was starting to annoy me so much.
What did you think of the overall episode? We had a lot happen in this episode, right?
Yeah, it was packed.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. There was a lot going on, and a lot of the things we've been asking for.
Where's those idol hunters? Yeah, so they finally broke out again on day 19 and had some progress, some success. So Michael's got an idol, Wendell's got an idol, Dominick's got an idol and an advantage, and Kellen now has an advantage. So there is a lot of activity there on that front. Okay, next time on Survivor.
Merge.
Time for the merge. Yeah, so we called it.
Yep.
It's definitely coming in week 7.
They are merging at 13, which doesn't necessarily mean the person who goes home next week will be first on jury.
But it could be. So
it's possible.
Could be worth an extra point, yeah. So the 3 tribes come together, but Probst tells us that a war rages on.
Michael feels like it's Christmas morning.
Okay. He thinks he's been given a gift by making it to the merge.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
That's still to be seen. I think he has more to work with.
He's got some meat shields in front of him, some meat heads in front of him that'll delay his potential departure as a physical threat.
Well, and the Chris and Dom feud doesn't hurt anything.
Yep. Well, it certainly helps. That might be another part of Christmas morning for Michael, is that Chris and Dominick, Probst tells us, are going to square off now.
And Chris tells us Dom's a loser, and Dom says Chris is an idiot.
Mm-hmm. Wendell says these two guys can blow up the world if they want. So I think Wendell's got the right perspective. Let them go at each other.
Well, Chris is talking to, from what we can see, Laurel, Desi, and Angela, and is talking about that Dominick's been after him for a while. Mm-hmm. But he's too suave.
Rico. Yeah, he's definitely too Rico for it.
Yeah, you're right. You're too suave there, dude. Mm-hmm. And Dominick was talking to Libby and Jenna down at the beach. So I'm not sure if that means these people are aligning with the people that they were talking to, but because those three girls that Chris was talking to, just the look on their faces.
Well, Laurel wasn't making eye contact with him.
Yeah.
Desiree and Angela were, but Laurel was looking away. Yeah, she's had enough of all of Chris's.
Yeah, I wasn't getting a good
posturing
vibe
and
from them about him.
Boisterous declarations, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we already know how Laurel feels. She's tolerated him, but I think she's made him feel like she's on his side.
Yep.
Some of the Malolo people made it to the merge at least, and we'll see if they can wedge themselves in.
Yeah, I think we're given the choice that Chelsea and Libby and Dominick and Donathan made. I think there's potential for some new alliances to come out at that merge.
Yeah, 5 original Malolo made it to the merge. Good on you.
Surprising, yeah. And there's some connections. I don't think Michael's got anything necessarily with those Naviti folks that he was with on Malolo, but he's got other people that he can defer to. Plus, like Wendell said, yeah, let's go ahead and let Chris and Dominick square off and we can get rid of them, and that buys everybody 1-2 more weeks. And so I'm totally liking Wendell's approach on this. So
it sounds good to me.
Almost worth a week, or somewhere between 5 and 6 days between those two, more than likely. I guess it could be 2-day cycles to get rid of Chris and Dominick. But actually, Dominick's probably not going anywhere. If he feels at all threatened, he's got the legacy advantage that he can play
and an idol,
at 13.
a regular idol. So
right, so
he can have immunity 2 different ways.
Yeah, if he's got enough of a social game, enough of a social network in place so that he can get wind of them coming for him, whatever alliance it is, then
he would be better off
safe
to play the legacy advantage, because it can only be used at when there's 13 people, which there will be next tribal.
And
where
we are right now, after this tribal.
He would have to wait until there were 6 people. Mm-hmm. So it would be better if he needs to burn one, to burn that one, because the other one can be used anytime. Mm-hmm. So that would be his smartest move.
Right. Chris has got nothing. Michael's got something now. Kellen's got an extra vote, and Wendell has an immunity idol, so he more than likely is not going anywhere. And Wendell's going to feel safe enough with those 2 knuckleheads squaring off against each other that he won't have to use his.
Well, and they both like him and seem to trust him, so
a lot of people do.
He can go either way with whichever one he wants.
He may not need to play his. Yeah. We'll see how it goes from here.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be interesting to see Kellen's reaction to Bradley being gone, because I think there was an alliance there for sure.
I do think Chelsea could smooth that over. I mean, come on, everybody has to know that.
In the next episode. Yeah.
How he was.
Didn't go unnoticed, even in original Naviti, I'm sure. Mm-mm. And he was pretty horrible once he got over to the Malolo camp and is complaining. Even his own alliance was able to see all that.
Though Michael may feel like, oh no, Brad saved me last time, and he's gone. My alliance is gone.
I don't think Michael is going to regret having Bradley out at all.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't tell if it was Libby or if it was Kellen that said that the lines were finally drawn. So that implies that that's happening next tribal for sure. So people are going to have to choose sides, I guess.
You got to think Dominick's going to come out the victor in that.
I would think
given
so.
All the advantages, all the advantages he has in that context with the immunity idol and the legacy advantage.
Well, and most of those girls, let's face it, they're going to want Chris out of there, so I don't have to listen to him talk about how beautiful he is.
or
wonderful, and
angling to eat all the chocolate or a bigger portion of the food because he loves food.
Women would vote you off for less than taking chocolate.
Yeah, it's turned out in the extra videos there was more than one thing that had chocolate, what Laurel said, so it worked out okay for
Laurel
him.
wanted chocolate too.
Yeah, in that particular case.
Women
but yes.
usually do want chocolate, so. But anyway.
So I'm excited, looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, so I'm with you.
To move on to the next stage of the game.
At this moment in time, I would think that Crispy could be in real trouble next week.
Looks like it.
Yeah, it could go a completely third way.
It really is all going to pivot on how the alliances play out and who ends up calling the shots there.
Well, we'll put some thought into it with
that contention in original Naviti, it's really good because that can easily split them up so that the original Malolos, if they're still united, which probably they will be, then they'll have a really good chance at gaining the upper hand numbers-wise because Naviti's going to crack around Dominick and Chris, and everybody's going to want one or the other of them gone because they're going to be just consuming all the oxygen at camp. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, Donovan's going to be glad to see Laurel. He feels real close to her. I don't know that Jenna's close to that group, or I don't really know how close Libby is. So I don't know where she could go. They might benefit from distancing themselves from Libby, hanging her and Michael out to dry. Donathan and Laurel.
Jenna and Laurel?
Because Jenna, I think, will stay with Sebastian as much as possible and see if he'll carry.
Really? You think she's still floating like that?
No.
I guess she was coattailing on Stephanie, so maybe that's her thing. Is she's just going to coattail Sebastian too? Although you could tell when she was strategizing with Stephanie, I don't know that she gets to strategize that much, if at all, with Sebastian. But she had game when she was strategizing with Stephanie. So this could be an opportunity for sure for her to reemerge.
Well, I hate to even say this because it never seems to go well. But there are 7 women still left in the game.
Well, there's no way this group of women are going to unite.
6 men.
That not going to happen. Although Chris and Dominick make it easier for something like that to happen, but I don't.
I don't see that because.
No, because they've been holding on so much to the original tribal lines that they want to be all OG tribe.
Well, this is where Naviti really has to start playing harder, or really getting into the game, because they've had the numbers. They haven't had to challenge.
I see what you're saying. They're going to be tested by this.
They're going to be tested.
Yeah.
This is really the first big test, I think. Well, Dominick. And
some of them got
Chelsea
tested with Morgan going out. Yeah.
Well, no, they got schooled.
Yeah.
But, they did turn on Brad. So, but I just really don't think that's going to hurt them all that much. But it could.
Well, I'm excited to see how that plays out. Anything else you want to add from next time on Survivor?
Nope. You know how I chose my safe picks this week? I made myself do it.
Yeah.
I had 3 people that I had not chosen safe at all.
Okay.
And I made myself choose those 3 people because I'd been too nervous about them going to choose them. And I had not chosen Angela because I thought she was going,
so many times before.
So many times. I had not chosen Jenna, and I had not chosen Chris.
So you hadn't chosen these people because they had been at high risk. And this week you decided the risk had been diminished, therefore you wanted to spread out some of your safe points.
I had to spread out some of my safe points.
Yeah. You too, like Kellen, were looking towards the end game.
Because I really did think it would be Michael or Brad or Libby.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought I could take a chance on those people.
All right, well, speaking of JSFL, how about a JSFL update?
I can do that. There were 14 people who lost their USB.
Okay.
Mike K is still in first with 29 points in JSFL. Mike. There were 61 people who lost a safe point for Brad.
Yeah, there was good reason to think that he was going to be okay. He had been doing so well up until now.
But congratulations. There were 68 people who earned a vote-off point, so I was not on my own. And I'm sure a lot of those people were just like me. They just wanted it to be.
Wanted to be the case?
That's right.
I want to get rid of him. He annoys me. He's so smug. Yes.
Okay, side challengers. With 25 points, Brandon is still in the lead. 24 points, Cold Mike, Jeremiah, Jonathan, and Jay Kindred. With 23, James and Shannon and Stacy.
All right.
And with 22, Kitty Cat, Parker, and Randy.
There we go. Sounds good. Well, we're certainly excited to hear what you thought about this episode and all these new developments. Significant movement in this episode. Hopefully that's going to make up for a little bit of a lull we experienced with last week. And we're excited to hear your predictions for what's going to happen going forward. Voicemail line 206-350-1547. Toll free 844-643-8737. Say you're on your way back home from a long road trip. Easy to call that voicemail number and share your thoughts about what you saw in this episode. Yeah, it's probably the easiest way to get your feedback into the podcast. Now, maybe you're not comfortable with your voice being out there. You can write up your thoughts, your analysis, some perspective from your own personal worldview through your particular filter and experience, what you saw and how you perceived it in this episode. Joanne and I have laid out the big broad strokes and what we saw for the recap. We're looking for your unique insights. You can send that in an email and we'll read it into the podcast for you. The email address, joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. If you want the best possible audio quality, you can record on your own and send that as an attachment in an email, and we'll get it into the show for you. Anything else you'd like to add?
I don't believe so.
Have a good one.